Just going to double check our stream feed here and make sure we're streaming. All right, there we go. Looks like everything is up to date. Anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about some of my feelings about the 11.3, 11.31 update here for Fortnite Save the World. We're also going to open some Winter Llamas. So without further ado, let's get into our llamas. We're going to open 20 of these guys. We'll open about half a dozen or so far. Looking for a few different things in here.
Tidings of good cheer.
Yeah, and we're gonna go through. If you notice that I'm not really excited right now about this, the half a dozen or so llamas that I've been opening have been kind of crappy, to tell you the truth. In addition to that, we've been getting a ton of epics out of here. So I don't know if I would tell you to hold off on opening, stack your Winter Llamas and hold off on opening until maybe they change the meta on these a little bit better. Because from an RNG standpoint, there should be significantly more, at least in my opinion anyway, significantly more legendaries coming out here versus what we've been seeing. Like, there we go, right? There's another epic Sergeant Winter. This is just ridiculous here. One of the things I do like is auto tagging some stuff that's below rare, whatever level threshold you have set. I've set mine for all the commons and uncommons to automatically hit. One of the reasons why I've done that is because there are a few things that are dropping from these Winter Llamas in the rare variety, such as Sergeant Winter before, not Sergeant Winter, but Warden. The Warden, where we're at there. Epic Soldier, Epic Constructor. I don't really think it matters right now. I've got him in Legendary now. Let's see here. We have an extra one to flux up with. Should be Jolly Headhunter, and oh wow, well, that's weird. We are seeing this, which is peculiar, at least in my opinion anyway. Here we go. It's kind of strange that we're seeing her there. Oh, all right, there we go. So there's a new legendary schematic. If you're like me, the 11.3 update for Save the World really kind of made you scratch your head. They've done some horrible things with it. They did actually just earlier today release a note saying that they're gonna relook at things and whatnot. I mean, finally, for once, we're seeing some communication from Epic, which is really nice. Demolisher Jonesy or Alchemist Sarah. This is going to be one of those where if I choose one, the next one I'm going to get later is going to be whatever. As far as, I'm going to go with Alchemist Sarah. Her outfit's cool, and I do like her medicinal properties there. So, it's nice to see some communication from Epic for once, or at least for the first time in a very long time, trying to explain what they've done. At the same time, their message was a little vague, and you could certainly read it to say, well, yeah, we heard all your comments, your criticisms, your critiques, and yeah, screw you guys, we're gonna do whatever we want anyway. So, yeah, that's kind of where we are there. That bumps me out, to be quite honest with you. I'm not really pleased with that in the least. We'll see how this actually turns out. Apparently they've it looks like, and I just did that 132 4-player what was it, a Ride the Lightning for Drops of Rain. There are about 280-ish Drops of Rain that were in that. Oh wow, so I am happy now. At least happier for opening my llamas. I chose properly earlier. Remember, if we saw my choice there, it was between him and Alchemist Sarah. With Alchemist Sarah, now we have Demolisher Jonesy. So actually pretty happy with the way the RNG turned out on that one. I honestly have no idea what they set these things for, but anyway, pretty excited to see that. That completes most of my heroes actually, I think, because in the birthday llamas earlier this year, I wound up getting into them with some better stuff. So, and there is the legendary version of that as well. So that's cool. Anyway, we'll see what happens with the meta. They're not spawning quite as high husks now, so in that 132 instead of spawning like 180s or something like that. I'm trying to remember if they were 174s or if they were like 160s. I honestly can't remember off the top of my head, but they weren't insanely overpowered compared to what we've seen over the past couple of weeks, and that led us to actually have a fighting chance, and we won that. I won that in a group in a lobby with some randoms, and we wound up doing well on it. We wound up completing it. And above 80% on the balloon, which was good. So kudos to the people who were in the randoms who were in the lobby with me. They all did a fantastic job. It was refreshing to see earlier. Yesterday I had a horrible random lobby with some folks, and you know, I mean, that's the nature of the beast, right? At the same time, it's nice when you see that. You know, I don't play a ton of random lobbies, and that's one of the reasons why. Half the time I'd rather solo things. So, you know, if you're out there, you're in random lobbies, try and be a decent teammate. You know, don't be toxic if there's not a reason. You know, if somebody's not giving you a reason to be, right? You know, help out the team. You know, don't be that guy, because I mean that's the really Fragment Flurry Jess is something I'm looking for in Legendary, and I really hope I do wind up getting her this time. I'll see where her choice is here. It really doesn't matter one way or the other on this, it's just going to get recycled. You know, I can just recycle this guy right out of the gate too. I'm gonna actually leave that there for now. So,
that doesn't seem very
I don't even know where to begin on this. The Smasher meta has been unfortunate with what they've done as far as launchers and pushers. It would be really nice if they had a better impact. I mean, I get they were pissed that it's my second one of these. I am going to, yeah, we might as well just recycle all of these because I know I have in there, so we're good there. And it should theoretically, coming out of here, it should automatically add it to the collection book if I didn't and I was recycling it. So I don't know, we'll see, retiring, or the case may be on this one. You know, I get they don't like, yes, now we are complete, we've come full circle. So, you know, it's I get they don't want smashers. You know, if you've seen some of the builds, and I think I put up, I think I streamed my Twine 7 a week or two ago. And I actually finished Twine 9. I rushed on that trying to get it done before this meta change. So I had a feeling something horrible was coming down the pipeline, and sure enough it was. I wish I'd gotten 10 done in time. But unfortunately, it was that beach area in the northeast, which I can't remember off the top of my head which one that is. And yeah, so that one was a tough one to defend. I only had a chance to run it once before the servers reset for that. And yeah, that's where we are there. Anyway, so my point for that was launching smashers up into the air in one of my defenses as a kind of holding box. Put some 130 launchers in there with full impact, it would throw them up and it would do a decent amount of damage to them. So I get that they wanted to take care of that. The issue I have with it is, if that was if that was what was going to happen, why not have the smashers be less affected by it, so it didn't throw them as high, or don't let them take as much fall damage, or totally remove this fall damage so they couldn't take any fall damage? That would be fine too. But to totally nerf the traps in regard to smashers really just shows a lack of knowledge of actual gameplay in this. When you have a wave of smashers coming at you, and you know, in lower levels it's not necessarily quite as bad because you can make up for it by you know, getting higher powered guns and stuff. You're talking about being in upper levels, especially once you get into the 124 4-player and higher missions. Especially before this change. Now it's not quite as bad, but it's still pretty bad, and it's still unacceptable in my opinion. But you know, one of the things that something has to be done there, right? You know, it's just frustrating. I'm trying not to be bummed out on this because there are some nice things about it. I actually finally picked up my final mythic lead I needed to complete a mythic lead in every single slot. So I'm pretty happy about that. There we go. All right. I don't think I actually had Sergeant Winter in Legendary, at least not that I can recall anyway. Maybe I did, but at least we've got him now. This is actually going to be pretty cool. We'll see where this winds up shaking out. But this may be. I got another Ted, so I have him all ready for in Legendary. He's actually one of the Legendaries that I got the other day. One of the first ones that I got. I think out of like my third llama, something like that. So by the time we get done tonight, we'll have the 20 that I opened here tonight, 20 or 21, I can't remember what I was saying when I opened this thing up. I knew it was at least 20 though. And you'll see what that plus the half dozen or so before that will yield you.
Merry Batmas!
It looks like tonight, opening all these in a row, and you know, it's one of those things we have no idea if there's any benefit in opening a bunch at once versus getting one at a time. But you know, when we see something like you know, opening them individually, and we've heard some people chatter about that there's a really bad RNG for getting just epics. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody else does a bunch of sit-downs on these. We have gotten a ton of epics tonight, but one Jolly Headhunter, 3 Sergeant Winters, might as well grab another one of these. If you start looking at what we have here, and I've already recycled a couple of these, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see where we're at. Alright, so we are done with these, so we're going to go into our collection book here, and, yeah, oops. We're going to go in here and we're going to take a look here. So, event people, holiday heroes. So we've got the one Warden and the one Sarah. I have a Jingle Jess. I got her from a quest. Now we finally have Fragment Flurry Jess. We're going to wind up adding her to the collection book to fill that out. We can now finally, with the 2 extra Winters that we got tonight, we can add one of those to here. We have Demolisher Jonesy. We can add him in there. And that's good. Hopefully the rest of our Frost Knight heroes are going to be dropping. I'd really like to get this Outlander. She's a pretty good Outlander. Same thing for, I really want, for his Frozen Base, Frozen Castle. I really want this fella too, so it would be interesting to see when and how they decide to drop those out. Wound up, if you watched that last stream, you see we completed all the costume party attendees, which was nice. Well, not last stream, but a while ago stream. Alright, let's go into our event schematics and see what we're looking at here for holiday weapons. So now I have an extra one. I may or may not slot that in the collection book. We shall see. This was added to the item shop. This one was part of Frost Knight quest, Jolly Ransom quest, something along those lines. Ginger Blaster was out of one of those 2 quests as well. We wound up getting Ralphie's Revenges earlier. We've got something for all of these as well. I do have a Tree of Light that I got out of a Birthday Llama earlier in the year. I need to complete this one because I would like another one. The Tree of Light is a really good sword. Santa's Little Helper, it's going to be interesting to see where and how they put this in here because I really want one of these. They're really decent launcher. Better than the Jackal launcher by far. Jackal launcher is pretty decent. It's fun. It's a fun one, but the Santa's Little Helper is better. I really hope this comes out. I know there's not a lot of people who like it, just because it's not quite as powerful. But this thing is fun, especially when you have to go down into if you're a higher level and you go down into anything power level like 82 and below. Running one of these as an 82 is just fun, and it really put a hurting on the husks anyway. And it's kind of fun to do some of that stuff when you're in those lower levels where everything you have is overpowered when you're a higher level. Anyway, if you tell from the last one, we are up a little bit on our power level. We were up a little higher than that, and then we dropped back down again because we're refiguring out some of those mythics. I got to push myself back up over 122 here to unlock those last couple ones in Twine. Anyway, we're going to go down the list here and check some more of that stuff out. If you guys want to see some of this stuff live and in action, you can check out a lot of the different firearms that you see in the game are based off ones in real life, be it the Bobcat, which is PS90 you see up behind me. This is a Savage 110 Desert Tactical with a silencer on the end of it from Bowers. That's the Vers 30. This is a pretty cool setup, and this is based off of one of the setups that they had actually in, well, not based off of it. This is my gun that I had that they wound up putting in something very similar to that in Battle Royale, and they do have something kind of similar to this, not suppressed, in the thing as well. One of the things is they have all these magazines that are in them, but they only take one shot, which is ridiculous. The standard capacity magazine for this is 10 rounds. And this is actually chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor, so this is a pretty heavy-hitting round. Most of the work I do with this gun, I don't really shoot this. I don't really enjoy shooting this thing. Well, I do. I enjoy shooting it closer in, but at 100 yards to 300 yards, it's not even a challenge with this thing. Most of the shooting I do with this is 400 yards and beyond. And I'm looking forward to getting this thing out to 1,000 yards here in the not-too-distant future. Anyway, 13C Gun Reviews, if you're interested in seeing some of that stuff live, our creator code 13C Guns. We appreciate your support, and drop us some comments. We're going to post this one over to the YouTube channel as well, 13C Guns. So head on over there and check that one out as well, or 13C Gaming, whatever I've called it. I really haven't dwelled too much on it, but some of the feedback that I've seen is kind of interesting. We also have a couple videos that we've done, like on the MK47 Mutant, highlighting video guns in video games. Their real-life counterparts, I should say. We're going to do some more of that based on your feedback, so definitely, if you're into that sort of thing, enjoy it, man. If you live here in the United States, yes, silencers are illegal in like 42 different states. All you have to do is the appropriate paperwork. Same thing with everything that you see here. In most states, you can own most of what we have. And of course, everything that we do here on the channel is completely legal and well within the law. But if you're interested in seeing some of that stuff, definitely check out 13C Gun Reviews YouTube channel for that. Talk to you all later. Thanks.